The content hamster wheel. How stressed out do you get from it? How exhausted are you from it? How overwhelming is it? You're wondering what to post, when to post, what should I say in the post, how often should it be? There's this common misconception that you have to show up in all the platforms, all the time, in all the ways, do all the things in order to be successful. It is extremely exhausting, it is overwhelming, and it's not sustainable. It's my hope that this video actually gives you a moment of like freedom, right? An opportunity to take a breath of fresh air when it comes to how you are looking at your content strategy, so that you can actually identify a process, a system, a method that's going to work for you, for your lifestyle, for you and your business. So let's dive in. Now, one little side note I want to make. I recommend you have a business model that supports you and supports your goals. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that the content that you're putting out is content that actually drives people to what you sell in your business model, right? So you're not just creating content to create content. You truly are creating content to share your message into the world, but also to monetize it and to drive people into your personal brand, your services, whether you're a coach, consultant, expert, speaker, thought leader, an industry influencer. If you are a content creator, you have your own set of programs or services or digital products or things that you also sell in addition to your content and in addition to any brand deals or anything like that you get. So you are driving your clients, right? You're driving people in your community and your audience to become clients and to become community members in your paid stuff. And so when that is your focus, you want to make sure that you have a process that's going to be sustainable, because you're not only just creating content just to create content, you're actually creating content that leads back to your offers, which you have to deliver, right? Now, unless you have a complete passive income business model where you do all digital products, which there's still some work involved in digital products too, right? So there's going to be effort that you need on the back end of your business model and your client and community, delivery and fulfillment and your service and all of that type of stuff, right? You want to make sure that you're preserving your energy for that too. So all of your energy cannot go into being exhausted by this content hamster wheel. But I did just want to make a note of that you need to also make sure that you have a business model that is strategically set up. And I did do a video on monetizing your message where I did share the top 3 offers, the types of offers that my clients and I have in our businesses. So definitely check out that video to get some initial ideas. And I'd love to do more videos on that. So let me know what other questions you have about your business model. But let's stay on this content wheel thing. But I had to say that first because we got to make sure your business model is right so your money is right. And now the content is driving your people there into those offers. Now, I'm introducing in this video a concept that will help you figure out what is the foundation of your content strategy. Let's understand what platform should you be on based off of where you are in your business. So I'm going to break that down so you can decide what that looks like for you. But the reason I'm doing that is because, my love, some of y'all are being spread too thin when it comes to your content creation. And I'm always talking about quality over quantity. We don't just want to put out a bunch of content just to put out a bunch of content, because any content brings in any audience, brings in any client, could potentially bring in any money. And not all money is good money. Not all clients are good clients. Not all of them are aligned, right? And so I know that myself, my clients, we do work that's truly a part of our heart, right? It's something that we feel massively passionate about. It's purposeful, and we don't want just any and everybody in those offers. And the truth is, it's not designed or created for any and everyone. That's how you get headache clients. That's how you get real stress. That's how you have to deal with having resentment. You have people who want refunds or who give back testimonials or all the things. And if you just make sure that you're bringing in quality leads and quality clients, right, and aligned clients into your world, not just any audience, aligned audience members, right, it's going to make things so much simpler and easier for you. This is how I literally have clients who hire me back every year. I have clients who have never stopped working with me. They just keep renewing. I have clients who are raving fans. I just re-signed 2 or 3 clients over the past couple of days that I've worked with, years ago, and then some I worked with last year. So my clients have the best return rates when it comes to clients who are, being retained, right, in their programs and their offers. They have the best testimonials. And I truly believe it's because from the get-go, we start out with super quality content that strategically allows the right people, our most aligned audience, to know exactly that we are talking to them, that we're here for them, that we can support them. We build that trust with them. They come into our offers and they just don't want to leave our world. And so I want you to really be intentional about that from the beginning with your content strategy. Like I said, we want to create a content strategy that is going to work for you where you are in your business and that's not going to wear you out. So I'm about to break down 2 different levels or phases, if you will, of clients in my business, right? Whether you're in the discovery phase of your business or the deepening phase of your business. And based off of that, I'll share with you what you should be focused on when it comes to your content in each of those phases. Now that I broke that down for you, I want you to tell me in the comments, which phase are you in? Are you in the discovery phase, or are you closest to the discovery phase, like discovering your message, discovering who your client is, discovering what works, right, for you, experimenting? Or are you in the deepening phase where you are focused on, elevating what already works? You already have tried and true stuff. You already have stuff that's working. You already had clients, and you're just focusing on amplifying that and increasing your conversions. Let me know which phase you're in. With that being said, I want to remind you that we always want to drive your content to your offers, no matter which phase you're in. And the way that you want to do that, the number one way you want to do that is you want to have your content circle back to your framework, which leads back to your offers. Now, I did do a video where I talk about mastering consistent content creation, and also there are 2-part videos, right? So we did a content to clients part 1 and a content to clients part 2 that is in the messaging playlist. We'll pop it up here as well. But I want you to dive into those because that's where I'm actually showing my process and breaking it down of how would you actually take your framework and turn it into content as a subject matter expert. So we want the content strategy to be based off of where you are in your business. So are you focusing on experimenting? So you're going to go all in on focusing on your core platform, or are you in a space where you're deepening and so you have some things that have worked and now we just want them to work even better and you're still driving your content to your offers? But either way, discovery or deepening phase, you are driving people to your core offer through content that is aligned with your framework. Speaking of platforms, here's what I recommend. If you are starting out, okay, if you're in that, what I call the discovery phase, right, where you're kind of discovering your message, you're discovering who your client is, you're discovering what your offers could be, right? If you're in that discovery phase, you want to identify the number one platform that your audience is on right now, and you want to focus on showing up there. I know that people will make you feel like you need to be all the places and do all the things, but my love, you're in a space where you're actually discovering your messaging and you're actually testing your messaging, right? You're experimenting. So you need to identify the parts of your message that actually work, right? The parts of your message that actually lead to your offers. You need to quantify that. You need to solidify that. You need to clarify that, all the things, right? You are really in a space, like I said, where you need to focus on discovering your message. Again, grab my Sign My First Client masterclass where I talk more about these things and the foundational things that you need to do that. So if that's the case, then I would recommend that you focus on one platform, okay? Not many platforms, so that you can really nail that down. Now, if you are in more of the deepening and dominating phase, right, where you're like, listen, I've been in business for a couple years. I'm a little bit more experienced. I've started building a name for myself. I have made some money and I've signed some clients. So now what we want to do is, hey, you have a message that works, right? So one of the things when in Money in the Message, I love doing with my women when you first come in, is like, let's do an assessment on your messaging, right? And so let's understand what's already working in the message and what can be instant tweaks so that you can be able to implement them automatically to call in even more clients now, to get even more leads now, to increase your conversions even more now. So you want to understand those things. And so because you are a little bit more experienced, you've been putting your name out there, building a name for yourself, building your brand, all that type of stuff, we have a little bit more to leverage with you, and we can test better with you, right? We can test some of the tried and true stuff, but just amp it up. And so what we want to do is, you may want to look at more of a repurposing strategy, which if you are a member of Money in the Message, go into the membership resource suite and search repurposing, and you should see one of the repurposing trainings come up. If you're having a problem finding it, just tag me inside of the group, and my team and I will be able to support you and direct you right to it. And come to our call this week or our clinic this week and get support once you go through the repurposing training. There's a worksheet with it. Actually today in Money in the Message, in the call, Lisa, she actually created one post that I was guiding her into, and we were actually working on how to take a testimonial and use a testimonial to then go get more clients. And so we guided her through some questions to create one post. So she did that homework. I believe we gave her that yesterday or the day before yesterday. And so then today on the call, she actually had it ready. I reviewed it, and we literally mapped out here's at least 10, I believe it was more like 20 different topics, right? So 10 to 20 topics, or not topics, but actual hey, I would make this post, I would do this, I would do that, literally from one post. So you may need a repurposing strategy so that you're not working harder, you're actually working smarter and letting your content work more for you. But it would be crazy for us to create, if you're brand new, create something and then you go blast that everywhere, and we don't even know if it works. That's like a waste, right? But that's what I would recommend if you're in different phases. And again, if you are more in that deepening phase, then you may want to grab my high ticket masterclass, where I do talk about how my clients and I within 30 days were able to 2 to 5x our rates and call in clients, higher paying clients in our content and messaging. So make sure you grab either the Sign My First Client if you're newer in business, or my high ticket starter, my masterclass for high ticket if you are a little bit more advancing your business. And those are completely free resources for you. All right. All in all, what we want to do is optimize your messaging for higher conversion rates. How do we get more of the right people raising their hand, coming into your world, saying yes, pulling out their credit card, coming into what it is that you offer? So we're literally just in this space of, we want to increase the conversion rates of your messaging, right? Turning your content, your messaging into clients and cash with confidence and clarity and consistently, right? So one thing that I want to do is give you a question that could actually support you. And I would love if you would comment below inside of the comments and let me know what comes up. So here's a question. If you want to strategically, maximize your messaging, optimize your messaging, get your messaging working more for you as a salesperson, as a sales tool, right? Then I want you to really allow yourself permission to hone in on who your most ideal client is. But I'm going to give you this specific question I want you to answer and reflect on for yourself. So reflect on it. Let me know in the comments what comes up. Here's the question. Who is the absolute best person, if I was to only focus on this one person, who is the one person my current offer is absolutely best for? And with that being said, then I want you to ask yourself, am I speaking specifically to that individual and that individual only? Okay. If you are having something come up, I want you to let me know in the comments. Answer this question. What's your resistance to focusing on your absolute core client? What is your resistance to that? And one that I often hear that comes up from my clients is, Kiara, I don't want to leave anybody behind. I feel bad. I feel like that's not inclusive. Now, if you need me to do a whole video on that, please let me know, okay? And I will shift that thinking for you, okay? Because the truth is, the more that you actually hone in on exactly who you are absolutely most here to support and to serve, the more you will call them in. The more tight your message will be, the more doubt in your message will be, right? The more that it will work for you. So whenever we're talking about optimizing your messaging, most of the times, I would say like 99% of the time, I find that my clients are literally speaking to 3 people at once, right? And I know that in your mind, you would think that like, oh, well then that's going to call in even more people, but it actually repels. If you want me to do a video all on that, please let me know, because I could go on and on. That'll be a whole, we'll be here for a lot longer. Okay, y'all know I talk a lot. But in short, I do want you to let me know what resistance is coming up for you, if there is some, around focusing on your core client. But do think about that question. Who is my offer absolutely like the best, absolutely perfect for? Because if you can hone in on that, my love, ooh, you will have money-making messaging like no other. Now, with that being said, I want to give you a couple of questions to reflect on even further. And again, you can reflect on this no matter what phase you are in. So first and foremost, the question that I want you to think about for yourself and for your content is, are you on whatever platform that is on because everyone else is on it? And most importantly, are your ideal clients on that platform? Okay. Now, what you could do instead is think about, okay, what is the platform that my ideal clients, right? My most ideal clients, what platform are they hanging out on? So that would be number one. If you're in the discovery phase, that's the platform that you want to start at. If you are in the deepening phase, then I want you to assess all the places that you show up. And where do you see your clients the most? Okay. And that should be like your power platform, the place that you really focus on and you anchor your content in. You can repurpose from there. If you're in the deepening phase, you can repurpose from there, but that's going to be the main platform. So it's like, listen, this week is a busy week and I don't have time to like post here and then go ahead and post it on these other places. So you know what? As long as we post on this place, right, and this platform and this format, as long as we do that, then we're good. Everything else is extra and it's a bonus. And I can't tell you like how much of just a calming, mechanism that was for me, because I used to be in a space of like, okay, I need to post on Facebook, I need to post, and then within Facebook, I need to post in this many groups. I need to post, in my groups. I need to post on my page, my business page. I need to post on my personal page, right? And then do we have Facebook ads going or not? And then it's like, okay, now Instagram, are we putting it as a story? Okay, then it's going to be a reel. Is it going to be a post? Are there also Instagram ads? And then it's like YouTube, and then it's like podcasts. Like, there's so many things. I find that a lot of women are trying to be in all these places, but the reality is there are other things that you're handling in your life, especially if you're in a space where you don't have as big of a team to support you in that. There's definitely some systems and automation that you can do. But again, this is us just laying down the foundation. How much freer are you going to feel if you know, okay, this week we showed up on our number one platform, okay, and everything else we did from there is a bonus, right? It's in addition to. I don't have to judge myself or feel bad if we didn't do these other 5 places, as long as we got this number one place in. So I want you to think about, what is the number one platform that my most ideal client is hanging out on? If you are in the discovery phase, start there. Give yourself permission to stay there and focus there and build yourself there before you go venture out, because you're testing. And if you're in the deepening phase, that I want you to understand what that platform is, so that that can be your number one intention each week, each month, each quarter. That's where you're building your core main content. And then as you have time, as you have the energy, as you have the systems, as you step even more in, then you can kind of repurpose it into other formats. Okay. The next question that I want to give to you to focus on is, how does your ideal client consume content the best, right? Are they great at like watching videos, right? Do they love listening? So they like more audio based, right? Or a combination of video and audio, obviously, right? Like here. Or are they in a space where they're great with like reading is much better for them? I want you to kind of think about what format they do better with. Are they better with short form, or are they better with long form? Do they, do more emails? So that's one angle, is how does my most ideal audience consume content the best? But another thing you want to think about too is, how do I produce and deliver and serve content the best? So I know that that's like, those could, be 2 different things. And our goal is to find the place where those 2 things meet. And that's always my highest intention with my clients and my members of Money in the Message Inner Circle. I want you to kind of think about that for yourself. Where do my clients hang out the most? And then how do they consume content the best? And also, how do I deliver content the best? Because if they love one form of content and you do not have, the skill set or the confidence, or you don't have the desire to show up in that way, then it's not going to happen no matter how much you try to force yourself. Now, one thing I will say that we talk a lot about in my Mindset to Monetize membership is visibility and sales mindset. And so sometimes this is a mindset issue. And what I mean by that is, some of my women may have things about confidence being on video, or confidence being on stage, or like confidence speaking in front of a certain number of people, or something like that. And so sometimes those types of things through mindset work can actually be something that you grow in, that you stretch your muscle in, that you get even more comfortable and confident in, right? So that's a little different. But if you truly know, I have a lot of clients who are great at writing and they are not the best at speaking. So they would rather write first. So maybe you are a great blogger, or you are great at typing out your social media posts or typing out your emails. So you may start with writing as your visibility medium, right? How you're going to, the format you're going to create your content in, and then maybe you make a video from there. Or the opposite. I actually tend to be more of the opposite. I love to talk it out first. So I love audio. I love video. I will send myself voice messages with content ideas all the time. I send my team content ideas via, voice, right? Messaging. And so I like to talk the things out first, but then what you can do is you and or your team can literally have it transcribed. Literally, I was working on this morning with one of my team members. I sent her something. I was like, hey, transcribe this, because I already know I want to do a whole YouTube video on this thing. We want to find the medium, right? But if all else fails, I'm going to call you to start with the thing that you're going to keep the most sustainable, which is going to be the thing that you are more natural at, but give yourself permission to expand and evolve. I'm actually going to post a video here. We did a video all about comparison. And in that video, there is a clip of a video from me, July 2016. And it took me months to get on Periscope at the time, but like to get onto video. I was so afraid. I was so scared. It took me months of mindset work, which is why I love working with clients inside of mindset to monetize on that. Because once I got over that, that's how I got into a space of getting into my first 10K in the first 90 days of my business. And so it definitely was me using video marketing. But, you know, months before, Kiera wasn't using nobody video for nothing. Okay. And I had to like do some mindset work to grow in that area. Start with the one you feel natural with, but also give yourself permission to get the support, to do the work, to stretch if it really feels like just a confidence mindset issue. So I hope that that helps you, just kind of thinking more about your content in that way. Next reflection question that I want to give to you is, what content is missing out there? So when you think about what it is that you help your clients do, what are some gaps that you see existing in your industry, in the marketplace, right? What is something that you feel like your most ideal clients need to hear more about that maybe you're not seeing a ton of content on? Again, if you're in the discovery phase, then I want you to think about, okay, you know, here are some of the things that I feel my most ideal client need to hear about, and I don't see a lot about it. So I'll go ahead and put it out, right? And then I want you to also think about, if you are in the deepening phase, you've already been putting out some content. So you can look at this two different ways. One, look at the industry and the marketplace, right? What are gaps in the content you see being put out there in general? But I also want you to take an assessment of your current content, right? What are some gaps? Like, I tend to talk a lot about these things, and you know what? I realize I actually don't have content on this. And so you know what? Let me add that in. So I'll actually give you a real life example right now. So we've been really focused on building out our brand messaging playlist at the time of this recording for YouTube. But you know what? One of the things that I help my clients with inside of money in the message, because the money is in the message, we got to step into the message, but at some point we got to talk about the money. We got to talk about your offers. We got to talk about the monetization strategies of it all. So I love when we have bonus offer clinics where I'm like looking at your offers and giving you feedback. I actually was doing a lot of that this past week, looking at your prices, giving you, my opinion, or based off my experience of looking at thousands of women business models. Here's what this, could look like, or this could work, or even I was mapping out with a client last week. She has one offer, but we actually identified like 3 different levels of that offer. And so maybe this one's a digital product. This one could be a group program. This is a live in-person workshop. This one is your high ticket paid, and then here's a freebie. So I love, I geek out on that, but you have to have the messaging right to sell those offers. And so that's the bulk of my work. However, I do still talk about, okay, so now how do you actually monetize your message? What actually does your business model look like? What does your prices look like? How confident are you? How, in selling them, but also how clear is the messaging to also sell them, right? So we got some confidence mixed with some clarity, right? Some strategy and some mindset. So I love to go into that space with clients on monetizing their message and their business model and their expertise, and figuring out, how do I take what I know and what I'm great at and package it into X number of ways, right? And so where are you leaving thousands of dollars on the table, money on the table, and we could go get that money on up. So that's an example. And so I said, you know what? We also need to create a playlist where I do talk about monetizing your message, and I give some ideas and feedback and things like that on business model. So the bulk of my work is about messaging, but I can't not touch, what are your actual offers? What are you actually selling? What is this message selling? That is that's the center of it, right? That's just an example of, if I feel like, we have a lot of content here on YouTube. Obviously I have content, in other places on all of it, but on YouTube right now, we're building out the messaging playlist in real time right now. So, you know what? Let's just put also some information on monetizing your message for right now. We're going to come back and build it up even more. But, that could be an example of you in the deepening phase. If you see a gap around what you're putting out, like, you know what? Let me also add this in here. Or even one example is, a couple years ago, this might be 3 or 4 years ago, a big part of my framework was like the strategy. My corporate background is in sales. And so when I looked at women's business and them not selling the way that they really wanted to sell at the levels that they wanted to sell, I realized, okay, so yeah, we know it's your messaging. Like, you're not communicating the value to command the rates that you want. People don't understand why they need to pay you this much for the thing, but you're not communicating your unique value proposition, why you're amazing at doing the thing, etc. And so we got to work on the messaging. But through that work, once they had the powerful messaging, some women would feel super confident then, and like, bam, all I needed was the messaging clarity and I got it. And they go make their money. But then I would see some women who would be like, okay, yeah, the message sounds amazing. It sounds great. I feel really excited, blah, 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 blah. But then it's like, there's still something there holding them back, right? So for me, I said, when I first started back in so this was 2016 when I started using like more like video marketing. I was like, I needed to kind of build my confidence. And so I noticed that with other women. And that's actually what started me adding even more of the mindset work with my clients around selling and around being visible and speaking in public, standing up for, their value, things like that. And so there was this like strategy side of the messaging that we do to sell, position, package, and present your work more powerfully. But there was also this mindset piece of like, now you have the message, you have it on paper. So now what are you doing with it? And so we had to identify opportunities to support our clients with that years ago. And now it is a core part of our process. When you come in Money in the Message, we could be on one call and one person's question could be about messaging strategy and the next person's question could be about messaging mindset. Or I often find the two exist in one person. So we're talking to you about, hey, you have this program that you're selling, it's X amount of money, and the message, let's tweak it like this, let's tweak it like that. Bam. Now, what's your energy like with that? How are you feeling? Hold on. Are you confident with showing up with this? Are you confident for that sales call? Is there something else coming up around that we need to tackle? Because I want you to have the clarity and the confidence when you step into that sales conversation or presentation or event or whatever it is to sell the things. Those are two examples of how once you are in the deepening phase, we have so much to play with, right? Because now we can look at not only gaps in the industry, but we can also go ahead and look at what are some opportunities within your business model, within your framework, within your content that we need to fill with your content strategy as well. I hope that supports you too. So the last question that I want to give you to reflect on is this. What unique selling points do you have? Okay. When you look at your business, how can your business, right, stand out from, anyone else, from what others do, from whatever else is out there? You want to utilize your personal story. You want to utilize your client testimonials, because your story is yours. And if you have something coming up around, is my story enough? Is my work enough? If you're comparing your content, like I said, we do have a video where I talked about comparison. It is amazing. Like, go listen to that video. I actually watched it 3 times myself, right? It is a beautiful video. It's like, for me, a love letter to you about comparing yourself, because comparison is the thief of joy and your money, honey, and your confidence and your clarity and all the things. So if you do have something coming up around, well, what really is unique about me and what is different, I would first call you to the comparison video. And then there are deeper elements for sure, like in Mindset to Monetize, where we go into like your expertise mindset and some pieces on that regard. And then obviously in Money in the Message, we're diving into the strategy around, well, how do you now communicate? So sometimes it's just a confidence issue with women comparing themselves, but then sometimes it's like black and white. What am I saying and talking about when I am presenting and positioning my offer to stand out, right? So it's a mix of both, art and a science of both, but definitely check out the comparison video if that's going to support you. And if you are a member of Money in the Message Inner Circle, come to our clinic or call this week so that we can support you on that, or just post what's coming up for you from this video in the group so I can see it and I can start some coaching with you as well. I want you to think about those for yourself, but definitely, like I said, too, go back and check out the framework video. If you're like, okay, so what are my unique selling points? The framework video talks about how to bring your framework, right? Your methodology, your process, your method, the system that you use to help clients, like how to bring that into your content. And that's also one of your unique selling points as well, the way that you help clients. So you want to think about that as well. So I hope those reflection questions help you, whether you're in the discovery or the deepening phase, to give you even more ideas for the content. Now, one thing I just want to remind you is that tracking is important. But here's what we want to track. We want to first start out tracking what is working. If you are in the discovery phase, then I want you to pay attention to, okay, what is getting engagement, right? What are people responding to? What are people reaching out to me about? Okay. If you're in the deepening phase, you're going to pay attention to the same thing. You're just going to add in what also is making me money. Like when I talk about this topic, it makes me money. When I talk about this topic, it gets people coming into my offers, DMing me, visiting the sales page. I see traffic go up, like whatever that I see referrals come. So I want you to really pay attention to whatever phase you're in. You are tracking, hey, what are the results of this thing? And not just money, and I talked about this a ton with my Money in the Message Inner Circle members. money is one thing, right? But we also want to think about, okay, well, am I getting quality leads? You can't just say, am I getting leads, right? So if you're in the discovery phase, you're kind of like, okay, are people reaching out? But then you got to go into, okay, and are they the right people? Okay. Are they people of, quality, of substance, that are like great and perfect for what it is that I offer, who are willing to invest in themselves, who want to move forward, right? Any and everybody reaching out don't help you, right? If they're not ideal for your actual offer. So I want you to be tracking the engagement, the performance of your actual content. And a lot of people, you may talk about data, and I think people forget, but at the end of the day, those are the most important, right? You can look at, sorry, I'm shaking the table. You can look at all the numbers that you want to, and those are very important. I am not disregarding those. But if you need, again, this is about helping you step into this space of a little bit more ease. So if you just easily look at, oh, this week, this was the most popular post. And you know what? 2 people or 20 people or whatever it is reached out to me, DM'd me, purchased my, ebook, signed up for my freebie, came into my, next event, opted into, my challenge, liked my video, whatever that is going to be for you. It's going to be different for everyone, but those are some things that I would recommend for you to definitely make sure that you are tracking for yourself. Now, here's 3 other things I want to break down for you when you look at your successful posts. So first and foremost, you want to think about the topic, okay? So what topic does my audience most want to learn or most want to read or listen to, right? And so what you want to do is you want to determine which topics have the best engagement among your audience, okay? So I know that when I talk about, like, if you go back to your framework, when I talk about this part 1 of my framework, whatever that topic is going to be, okay? I know that people have more questions from there. It gets people talking, it gets people DMing me. So look at the topic, number 1. And what you can do is, if this topic was really popular, how else can I talk about this topic? So if I put this topic out via a written, video, well, you know what? What other ways can I put it out? You know what? I should turn this into a masterclass. So instead of you reading reading a post for 5 minutes, would you love to come to a 30-minute class on this? Would you love me to break this down in a 3-day challenge? Would you love support in implementing this in a 21-day challenge? Like, you can just kind of go from there. So use the topic to kind of guide you. The second thing is the format, right? And so what we already talked about, what content format is the best, right, received by your audience. You kind of want to look at that. Is it more short form, reels, TikTok shorts, videos, right? Is it more long form? Do they like carousels? Do they love hearing me speak, talk, seeing me, all the things? And even, do they like lives, or do they like pre-recorded, or is it indifferent? So kind of think about that on what allows your clients to have more engagement, or your audience to have more engagement. And then, y'all, I just want to give you a little nugget, especially if you're in the deepening phase. Y'all, don't be afraid to ask people that are reaching out to you, hey, what video of mine did you see that made you reach out? Hey, or if they book a call with you, hey, I'm so excited you booked this call. By the way, what was it that you saw that made you want to book the call? So just kind of asking them too. I feel like for whatever reason, like, we get afraid of that. And I'm like, I tell my clients all the time, oh, did you ask your last 5 clients why they came in? Or did you ask your last 5 clients what they saw of yours? Like, oh, you know what? I've been following you here on this platform. So you can ask them, what platform were you following me on? What content did you see? What video was it? What podcast episode? And it might be a couple, right? But they usually have at least 1 or 2 that kind of stand out that they can kind of talk to. So now you get the topic, and you get the format, and you get the platform all at the same time. And so when we're doing all of that, it allows you to start to see patterns, right? Are you noticing any patterns that are happening between the topic and the format, and also between the platform? So guess what? Now what happens, because you're correlating that, right, with the topic that you selected, with the content format that you're using, now you're able to optimize your future strategies. So if I know that this last quarter, I have done all these different types of topics, all these different types of formats, and I've been on these different platforms, okay? And as we do our quarterly assessment, wow, you know what I noticed? When I talk about these top 3 things, that's the thing that gets the most people engaging, but also that's the thing that leads the most people to booking a call with me, or consultation, or inquiring about my speaking, buying my ebook, et cetera, consuming my content. okay, so you know what? For the next quarter, we're only going to talk about those 3 things. And this is where I have a lot of fun because we literally get to take those 3 things. And I love mapping out with you, whether it's in a call or a clinic, right? You come in the group for support. I love to map out, okay, those 3 things, here's then how we turn it into the 90 days. And because a lot of women come to me like, here, I got 1 topic. I got 3 topics. But literally the other day I was showing one of the members, VIP members of the program, how to take one thing and we literally turned it into 10 different things. 10 different things, completely different, content topics that she can talk about, right, for the next 10 weeks. I love to map all that out. So I hope that supports you. And again, helping you step into a space where you create more ease with your content strategy. So instead of you feel like you're going all over the place, you're doing all the things, you're kind of in a space of wait, it's so much more intentional. I know that it's leading back to my framework. It's positioning my framework. I know that it's leading back to my offers, right? I know that it's speaking to my most aligned client, and I can tell the things that are getting them to buy. I can tell the things that are getting them along the journey, the steps of leading them to my offers. And I'm going to do more of that. Now imagine how much more intentional your next level content plan is going to be versus you having a whole bunch of random things. And if you are in the discovery phase, I wish I had this type of information and someone really broke this down, because that would have saved me a ton. The energy, it was affecting my relationship, was affecting my, weight. I was stressed out. It was the most, right? Me trying to figure out what works, and it's so annoying. And I'm going to say this, the discovery phase is such a beautiful phase, because for me, looking back, I've been full-time at the time of this recording 8 years, but oh my goodness, to know that first month, that first 30 days, right? That first, 6 months, whatever it is, that first year was literally the foundation that I'm standing on right now. It is beautiful. So don't get discouraged if you're in the discovery phase. I just want you to allow yourself the space to experiment and to learn. And that's also why I recommend get support at that level, and get support in the right things, right? You don't need to be working on systems. You don't need to be working on a whole millions of things. You need to be finding out and clarifying who is my most aligned audience, the ones that actually come and pay me, the ones that actually value my work, the ones that are actually right for my work, because I'm going to get the best testimonials from them, right? And I'm going to be able to help them the most, right? So you want to really be nailing your messaging for sure. If you don't do anything else, I see people go focus on websites. I see people go focus on photo shoots and, all of the trying to look professional and look successful and all of these things. And it's boo-boo. This is what you need to focus on, because the money is in the message, okay? So I hope that supports you. Let us know in the comments if you're in the discovery or if you are closer to the deepening phase, and, use these strategies to support you in gathering the data that you need to understand what your KPIs are going to be, your key performance indicators are going to be, and allow that to really dictate so that you are creating content that feels more sustainable, that feels more effortless and natural, but that also works for you. And then guess what? You replicate that and you build whole systems around that. That's when we step to the systems, because we're using the tried and true and putting it into the things. But I'll do another video on that. So let me know what questions you have below. And don't forget to share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, accountability buddy, another woman who is ready to monetize her message even more. And she wants to do it with the next level mindset and the next level sales messaging that she needs to show up and sell more powerfully. And until next time, love, shine, and success, and life, business, and everything in between. Bye, y'all.